Hello everyone, Derek here with Two Techs and a Tool. Today I'm going to open up my Corsair XX850i power supply. This is kind of Corsair's, I believe they consider their AXI maybe a higher end, more power. That's rated for crossfire ready. I guess those AMD cards have a little more juice requirements, but this is one of Corsair's top end power supplies, and right now, don't know for how much longer, it is on sale for $160 from Newegg. Corsair is offering a rebate on it, and so we got this one for $169. This is going to go in my green build, and the nice thing about it, 850 watts. It does the Corsair link for your fan control. Some other things. I haven't had a power supply that has that yet. I'm going to play with that, and we'll show that later in the build. But for now, we're just kind of open it up and see what we got. I am going to do water cooling on this machine, so that will make it a little cooler obviously, but quieter. And we're going to run some low RPM fans. And this power supply, actually, when it is at idle, will do the 0 RPM fan mode. It turns the fan off. So it runs at enough efficiency that it doesn't need that fan going all the time. Now this is a heavy machine. Let's go ahead and slide this out and see what we end. It does come with the one 24-pin ATX cable, the two ATX 12-volt cables, so the 8-pin 4x4s. But then it has 6 PCI Express cables that are 8 pins, and then you can break them to 2. So even if you've got quite a few video cards, you can have enough power for them without using adapters. It has 12 SATA cables. So plenty of those. Plenty of power for all your SATA devices, and then 12 peripheral Molex cables, and then 2 floppy drive cables. Don't let anybody use those for floppies anymore, but for what it's worth, there it is. Let's see what we have. Oh, I put my knife away and now there's a seal on it. This is the beefiest power supply I've ever put in one of my own machines. Everything else I use is pretty much HP proprietary stuff, so we'll get this open, maybe. Boy. So, here we have quite the manual in multiple languages. And we're talking about efficiency, Corsair link, which plugs right into your system board, all kinds of stuff. Right into a standard USB header. Nice. We'll definitely be checking that out. Warranty guide. One thing I did not mention at the outset, this power supply has a 7-year warranty. So, last power supply I will have to buy for a long time. Really good packaging, as you would expect with a high-end power supply. We've got, don't eat that, our power cord, which obviously is just your standard power cord. We've got a package of zip ties, some screws, and a powered by Corsair tag, which my case is Corsair, so I guess I could have powered by Corsair and a case by Corsair. Now this, well, let's go ahead and get everything out of the box and get the box out of the way. A power supply that comes in a velvet bag. Way to go, Corsair. Now you know why I have their case and their keyboard. This will be quick. Pull this out, this heaviest part, so this is obviously the power supply itself. You see this large fan, the case that I have, silent operation at low to moderate loads in this mode, the fan will not spin. So just like my video card, it has a mode where if it's not under any kind of stress, it doesn't even turn. I'm using the Corsair 540 Air case, so it has a perfect spot right here on the side. This power supply is going to mount this way in it, and this will just be able to breathe right out the side of the case. So it keeps it separate, which Corsair power supplies are kind of designed. I guess all power supplies are that way, but Corsair's really between their power supplies and their cases. This is meant to be its own unit, cools itself. The case I have, it's not meant to be cooled by the case at all. It's all enclosed in this itself. So we've got our intake here and then our output, and it should work really, really well. We got warranty void if removed stickers, so don't take it apart, and again, a 7-year warranty, so you don't really want to be playing with that. But there it is, the HX850i. And it is a solid brick of a power supply. So in here, I'm assuming the only thing we have left is cables, and we kind of already talked about what those cables are, but we have a bunch of them. PCI Express cables, more PCI Express cables. Everything's becoming so video intensive, more PCI Express cables. Now we've got our SATA power cables. SATA power cables. SATA power cables. We've got our Molex connectors. If we have anything that runs on Molex. It's almost to the point you can get away from that. There are still a few things we use them for. Molex. I guess if you do a lot of high-end pumps and things like that, they still can come with them. Here's one of our ATX plugins. We'll definitely need one of those. And then our system board plug-in there. And our other CPU power. Now this is our link cable, I believe. We'll have to go through that on the build. And then those floppies are actually Molex adapters to floppy, which for our build we won't be using those. But if you need them, they're there. This is actually the link cable. So we got a USB port and then a USB header on this side. That'll plug into your system board. I am not sure. That is a tiny, tiny cable. And it is not listed on the board. So, go ahead and put all these back in. The nice thing about having the modular power supply is instead of just having all those wires, which there's a ton of them, hanging out the side here, there's two different ways you can hook up that Corsair link. One is with this cable, and the other is with the USB. So we have Corsair digital link there, and it's got the USB or that. Helps if you read the instruction manual. First you don't succeed, try again. Still doesn't work, read the directions. So you can either use this for your Corsair link here, or we can plug in the USB port, and then we've just got a USB header that goes right to our system board. But having the fully modular makes it where we can plug in our ATX power supply right to our system board here. We have the 24-pin ATX plugins, but then you have all these plugins for your USB power, peripherals. So whatever you're going to use, you can plug that header in, and then you don't have to have everything else plugged in. So you can have a nice clean setup and only add the cables you want. So, and also for installation it's nice because I can put this in And when I first started building computers, we didn't have these. Everything had that big wad of cables on the side. And these are just much nicer to be able to get into tight spaces and then add your cables afterward. So should be a great power supply for our build. And as soon as the case shows up, should be here tomorrow, we will do a review on it and then start putting stuff together. This is going to come together pretty quick because right now, as you can see on my desk, it's just me and Leia and my little backup computer because my main machine is gone. This will be the power for my new one. So if you've got any questions about the HX850i, anything you'd like to see done with it or tests, if you're curious about it, put them in the comments and we will get to them as we put the machine together. Until then, thanks for watching. If this has helped you out, shows you what comes with that, give us a thumbs up. If you've got any suggestions for what we can do on the channel during the build, put those in the comments as well, and we will go from there. Until next time, have a great one.